Bienvenue à tous. Welcome to Reporters Plus here on France 24. I'm Mark Owen. In this edition, how South Sudan's dream of peace and independence is spiralling into more violence and desperation. Our team has been among those forced out of their homes. Almost 1 million people have now sought refuge in neighbouring Ethiopia. In South Sudan, two tribes, the Nuer and Dinka, have been in continual conflict since independence. Separation from Sudan and the rule of Omar al-Bashir in Khartoum came amid hope and expectation back in 2011. But since then, the world's youngest state has been in constant struggle for its people. That means being under threat of attack, forced to flee their homes, subject to treatment that one day could be judged as war crimes. In the meantime, their lives become more and more desperate. Our report is by Charles Emtaz, Olivier Jobard and Antonella Benveca.
These are some of the volunteer fighters that you refer to as White Army. You know, they are ready to defend anything that comes to their territory. They will defend it. You know, they don't go on offensive anyhowly. They sit and they watch after their cows and goats and their fathers and their mothers. But if somebody want to attack Bong now, where I am, they will participate in fighting.
The White Army is the first step for these young people towards a life of combat, part of the Nuer's ancestral culture. This rebel leader needs them to persuade his people to stay in the region, a territory as large as Northern Ireland and cut off from the rest of the country by the war against the government.
The Nuer believes so much into their land. So we have believed that the spirits of the dead is around with us. So this is why anybody will have to resist. And the protection of the land belongs to the young people. So South Sudan is a country that has been at war with the Sudan for decades. And so every generation grew up in such culture of hostility, aggressiveness, and all that.
The rebels have just suffered a heavy defeat. Their enemies, the Dinka, an ethnic tribe loyal to the government, have looted the town of Walgak. After driving out more than 20,000 Nuer residents, their aims are clear, emptying the rebel stronghold of its civilian population.
This is an international organization working in all over across the world. Oxfam. These people, they don't like the organizations that are providing services to the local community here. So the government is destroying this simply to make sure that Oxfam do not come back and reestablish themselves and provide services to the local people here.
These attacks maintain a cycle of violence between the rebel Nuer and the opposing government-supporting Dinka.
They would have this attitude of revenge, destroying facilities as well in revenge of what has been destroyed. So this is what might have provoked any other destruction of property in other areas.
Ethnic massacres have been increasing on both sides. The capture of the nearby city of Wat by government troops led to the exodus of 40,000 Nuer civilians.
I wasn't a soldier, I was just a normal guy. But the government started attacking families, women and children in the villages. That's why I decided to join the White Army, to defend myself and defend my family. Then the government attacked us. They had more artillery, and that's how I was wounded. They got me in the leg.
With the departure of NGOs, the rebels are now responsible for managing the humanitarian crisis.
I've spoken to humanitarian workers, so you can move back to where you live and receive local aid in your region. Once you've gone back to your homes, food will be distributed to the women. We will ensure that nobody from the government can disrupt our distribution.
Some of the displaced have been waiting for the NGOs to return for more than a month. The exodus has pushed residents of the fallen city of Wat out to remote villages.
I'm not from here. It's the fighting that made me come. We don't have anywhere to live. No food, almost no water. We're just left to ourselves. And I've been here a year due to the war. We're dying of hunger. Look, that's all we have to eat. Just leaves to survive. That's all we have to eat. That's our meal. We put the leaves in water, we cook them, and when it's ready, we eat.
Disease is quick to spread among the weakest, infants and the elderly.
Who is Nyadole's mother? Give him this once a day. You only need to give him half the medicine. Make sure to only give him half.
The diseases, there are more here. Malaria, diarrhea, tuberculosis, cholera, many diseases they have. Yeah, the baby are suffering from the hunger. Some of them are dying. Some are still alive.
It's uncertain as to whether these displaced people will ever return home, or if the rebels will be able to retake their lost territory. At nightfall, a group of men try to launch a surprise attack on government troops. But it ends in disaster. 5 Nuer men wounded and 2 killed. The war has not allowed people to cross the front lines. As the rebels feared, their civilians only want one thing: to flee as soon as possible. Hope for the displaced people arrives with this bus. It's an old Soviet truck which links this village on the front line to the town of Akabo on the other side of their territory, which sits on the Ethiopian border. The men are held behind at the front, and only women and children can climb aboard.
What's your name? Okay, slowly. One by one.
Not here, that's my seat. Push this goat.
There are many children on this bus who have nobody left to take care of them. That's the biggest problem. I'm returning to my father in Akabo because my husband was killed in a battle.
The bus doesn't make it far. Rebel troops decide to stop it. According to them, the owner was responsible for illegally raising ticket prices. They go over the accounts for hours.
Just tell the truth and you'll be free to go. How much did the driver make you pay? Come on, tell the truth. How much did you pay? 200? 300?
It quickly becomes apparent that the rebels need money and are taking a revolutionary tax.
The money, you know, there are some soldiers who are staying here, there's no food.
Okay.
And the little they have to collect it from the car, and they put it.
This group of around 100 displaced know that the stopover can last for days. They don't want to have to sleep in the road, so they appeal to Jumai. His 2 large cars can carry up to 30 people. A squad of the White Army are sent to accompany them for security.
Yeah, actually, now we have 2 vehicles. In those 2 vehicles, we have 14 guns. So those 14 guns, we use them for the case of, like, when we meet with the Morley on the way, because at that time we came to bring the children. We were going to Ethiopia, but Morley is usually abduct the children.
Most of the displaced are hoping to get to Ethiopia in order to escape the war. But the road which leads to deliverance is under the control of another tribe, the Morle, who often lead brutal raids against the Nuer. Jumai has taken to the road with around 30 displaced people. There's only 200 kilometers to go to get to safety, but the journey can take up to a week due to heavy rains turning the dirt road into a mud bath. The truck is constantly getting stuck.
The road is not okay seen because even the government did not clear this road. It's not good really for sure.
This trip's exhausted me. I'm so tired.
But the problem is fighting. Another one is hungry. There's no food. 2 issues. There's no food in Nakoba West. Even fighting.
The convoy has now reached Murli territory and cannot hang around. But there's another breakdown, and one of the trucks is completely stuck. One young woman is particularly worried. She's 9 months pregnant, and her water has just broken.
Push, push! She's coming out. Almost there. Get me something to cut the cord. Use a string from the rice sack. That'll do. Now help her climb and squeeze there. Hold the mother. Hold it tight. You've got the string? Now we're tied around the cord.
You knew very well that it wasn't the right day to travel. Why did you get into this car?
Here you go, your daughter. Don't take her out of the towel.
Give her your breast. Give her your breast.
Now can I get back in the car?
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
The convoy must get back on the road. The young mother's given the small privilege to ride in the only car that's still operational. The other passengers must wait. Some try their luck with a passing refrigerated lorry.
Come on, come on. Hop in.
After another breakdown and a night spent on the road, the voyage ends on foot. It's a 10-hour walk to get to Akobo. This town of 130,000 residents is a lot less exposed to the war against the government. But the Mole are not far away. The previous day, they launched a deadly raid against the Nua and seized their cattle.
So the problem is Morley. Morley is come. They are come to kill the people. And this boy, her mother, was killed. When the time comes to kill the people, her mother of this boy, she was killed. So, and she killed with the people also. So there are a lot of people. I think there are 10 people. They are killed. So that is the reason.
I was informed that we have one child, 3 years old. 2 years old. It has to be on a stretcher, but it can sit on the mother. We have a lot of gunshot wounds, and they have to be seen by a surgeon. That's the main problem. Severely injured patients who need an operation, who has to go to an hospital, and that's what we're doing. We're transporting them to a hospital for operation.
We are going to separate our armies in two. Our white army, the young people, will go to fight the Murle tribe and get our cattle back. And the others, the rebel soldiers, will go to the front to fight the Dinka, to protect our land, up to Wat and the village of Lao, because now our enemies, the Dinka, have taken control of our land.
The rebel chief of Akobo has another problem. The displaced people from the front arriving each day in ever greater numbers are living proof of the military defeats faced by the rebels, a reality in contradiction with the official narrative. There are stern words for the new arrivals.
I tell you, refugees, when you come here, do not talk. Do not talk too much to the local people in Akobo. Do not demoralize them. If not, we're going to end up thinking that you are the same as the Dinka. And you have come to sap our morale. You have to stop saying that the battle is already lost over there and that our army controls nothing. You know very well that it's not true. You have to hold your tongues until the end of the fighting.
We find Niemer, the 25-year-old mother who gave birth on the road. Like other displaced people from the village at the front, she's been housed in a derelict school. She's now named her daughter, born the previous day.
She's called Nyalof, which means on the road, because she was born on the road. It was really hard to go through, but it's all right now. I want my children to be able to go to school and live in peace. Their future isn't here.
The border is a 2-hour hike from Akobo. On the other side lies Ethiopia. 900,000 South Sudanese have already crossed over. For the Nua people, the crossing represents hope for an easier life.
That's it for this edition of Reporters Plus. See it again, of course, via our website, francevincat.com. You're watching France 24. Do stay with us.